Check this out, Isaac, guys. Check this out, Isaac. It's GTE coming back to you. Anyways, guys, check this out. I got Erin back here in the studio, and we figured we're not done talking. We're going to record our conversation because a lot of good stuff I think is going to come from this. But, all right, Erin, what did I just say right now? This was great. This was conversational.
Yeah.
And, yeah, most definitely. And, again, I kind of just made this podcast to help. You know, honestly, I'm a little confused.
What?
About my brand or who I am.
Why?
Because I started as a DJ, right? And I was able to build this phenomenal entertainment company. I think the fact that I just built a company within the event industry is phenomenal within itself. Because I look at so many people out there, and it's like, it's a one-man show. Maybe 2-man, 3-man. But they're using their friends, they're using their family. And not saying there's anything wrong with that. You know, I truly wanted to build a company where if something were to happen to me tomorrow, it doesn't take my friends or family to keep it going. My company knew what to do, and I'm really building an asset. So I guess my question for you is, are you looking to do the same? Are you looking to, I know coming from an accountant background, I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but you know, I mean, accountants know how to make companies grow. And so, I mean, was that your initial plans? Is that what you were thinking?
Ideally, I want something, obviously, to support myself. I like the idea of kind of contributing, you know, to the economy and things. I would love to have people working under me. As of right now, when I need a helper, it is a friend or a family member.
Right.
We are still at that stage.
And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's okay. No, for sure. But it's not the same as, like, having people that work for you. It's definitely not the same. Ideally, I don't know how big I would get in that aspect because ultimately I'm going to own my own venue. Wherever I end up like settling, whether it's here, another state, whatever, I want to have a venue.
Right.
So ideally, I would be coordinating that venue and everything. Maybe not doing things outside of the venue. I don't know.
Okay. Got it. So I guess it's safe to say, and I tell this to all business owners, have you thought of your exit plan?
The exit plan is to buy a venue where I live because then I have a beautiful house.
Right.
And then things that just kind of make myself money there. And just doing it for as long as I can.
Very cool.
I like the idea of a retirement that doesn't involve only leisure because I can't sit still.
Right. Okay. I can see that. Yeah, that's the reason why you're like a ping pong ball, you know? You're just bouncing all over the place.
I handle a lot, but I love it.
Yeah, very cool. Have you set goals for your company? If you don't mind me asking. Yeah. What are your goals?
Well, this year my goal was to book 5 events. I have booked 4.
Okay, very close.
So we're almost there. I would like to book 10 next year. However, I'm taking some time off in the spring just because of my own wedding. I don't want to lose focus of my other brides at my own wedding experience. And that's something that I try to remind my clients all the time. Like, they all know that I'm getting married, but as of right now, my priority is still them, I should say.
Right, absolutely.
So I'd like 10 events next year, but fitting those mostly into fall, I don't know, I might die. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sure 20 of 20 is super busy for you. Have you already booked a wedding for that day?
I have not booked a wedding personally for that day, but we are already getting booked up at Classic Catering 100%. Yeah.
I think we already have like 7 weddings that day.
I believe it. It's going to be a very popular date. And I have to say that day is going to be my mom's 62nd birthday. Okay. So it's a very special day, just saying. But I'll be working a wedding that day.
Oh, okay, got it. So I was wondering where you're going to be. Mom's party or the...
No, Mom lives in Wyoming, so if she wants a party, she has to come here.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know, this part of the podcast kind of excites me, and not like I said, we didn't really plan for this, but you know, kind of business owner to business owner, and, you know, and I know that where you want to get. I have to ask this question: if you could take weddings during the spring, and it's not necessarily you, would you do it?
As in someone else under me? Yes. But at the same time, I don't know who that would be.
No, I understand.
I don't have anybody I'm like courting necessarily to like work with me. So it's hard for me to say yes, I would totally do that without knowing for sure that I could or would.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, totally. And it's scary.
Yeah.
Yes, when you put in your name, you're slapping your name and backing an individual.
Yeah.
You know that I actually lost business when I first started this company.
Because of that?
Because of that. So, years ago, Natasha from Human Nature Photography, big shout out to her. I don't know if she necessarily does that many events anymore. I think she got into another venture. But she loved working with me. I loved working with her. I'm brand new to GTE. Must be between 2004, 2007, so I'm growing the company. And I got to tell you, I really think it was my club experience and being from a different, bigger city that really gave me my edge in regards to being a wedding DJ here. Because prior to me, I felt like they were DJs, but skilled. Yeah, I know one of them for sure that really knew how to entertain. But I was able to bring that club element, aspect, if you will. Anyways, so, I actually had to learn weddings. And what I did is I went to a convention, a DJ convention of all places, right? And when I went to this convention, my eyes were just opened. And it's like, ooh, when I MC a wedding, I want to be like that. Because MCing like that will go hand in hand with the way that I spin music. And it was a total, like, party vibe, but without me necessarily being the star. I learned from being at that conference to how to make sure that the couple stay center of attention and not be that cheesy guy that's like, hey, look at me, I'm your DJ, if you will.
Yes.
All right.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, which is probably why you're here. Anyway, so, of course I'm getting recognition from other vendors. Go work with Isaac, call Isaac. And like, cool, I have all this extra business. I don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
How do I make this work? So I hired a couple DJs, right, that were, in my opinion, were phenomenal DJs, and what I realized was, through this process, I get a phone call from Natasha after I sent some guys to do this wedding, and they're like, hey, Isaac, I got to call you. You kind of embarrassed me. You embarrassed me because I referred you, and you sent out these DJs, and, man, they weren't bad, but they weren't good. And here I am talking about how great you are and stuff. And she pretty much flat out said, she goes, you lost my trust. And because of that, I can't refer you. Now you're talking about like getting punched in the gut. Yeah. But I got to tell you, that was the best punch I've ever received. Well, maybe I've received a couple good punches that really helped me. It was hard to hear, but helped me grow. And then I had to go back and evaluate, why are people booking me? And I realized it was my charisma and it was my energy. And I realized that after being or attending a conference for DJs. I realized that people were coming after me. It was the fact that I had skills on the turntables. I think they would have booked me even if I was really good at playing music. I didn't have to have those skills. They just fell in love with the energy and the way that I can do things. So I realized then at that point where, I got to find more people like me. Now if you meet my staff, like everyone's like, oh, if they meet me first or they meet Alex first, they're like, oh my gosh, you're the greatest. No one else could be like you. And then when they come out and meet the staff, like, oh my gosh, where do you find these cool people? Well, it took forever, which is why I say we're still a small company. Because realistically, Erin, we turn away so much business that I could go subcontract. I know these other DJs I could bring in, send out under my name. I don't want to talk crap. They're not good enough. They're not bad. They're just not great. And I really feel like I built GTE, that brand, for greatness, if that makes sense. Anyway, but again, it all kind of came from Natasha telling me, hey, that guy wasn't good, I lost your trust, to me realizing that people were booking me for my energy and my charisma, which led into like, okay, I necessarily can't just use DJs because they're DJs. I had to find people that were just fun human beings, outgoing, and just really love life. And that really is the base of my product. And if someone has an outgoing personality and that energy and charisma and the willingness to learn, I can create a phenomenal DJ. It takes forever. It does take forever, which is how I kind of grew my company. I grew it because I realized that I could never DJ by myself if I wanted to grow. And it was hard in the beginning stages. I needed all the money I could put in my pocket. I was trying to support a family. I was trying to build a company. And I didn't have any extra. So me hiring someone to come out with me for them to be like an apprentice was, well, necessarily I didn't need them and I could put more money in my pocket. but realizing that's not how I was going to grow, I had to keep that second person with me at all time. Because eventually, them like, oh, okay, cool, I know this in and out now. And I had the right person going out with me with energy, charisma. And eventually, hey, Isaac, I can't afford you. You have any other options? Let me send out one of my newer guys.
Yeah.
And now he's getting the experience by himself. And it just kind of built, and that's where I'm at right now.
And honestly, that's a good, you obviously know, but that's a really good path for growth, because other than that, the only other way would be to raise your prices, and you can only raise them so much before you price yourself out.
Yes. Which is, it's cool. I don't know if you would say, Erin, but I think we're on top of the market. I'm sure you know what everyone's prices are out there. I think I know what everyone's prices out there, but I think we're kind of on top when it comes to pricing for our services. And for all the work that we do, I almost feel like we're underpriced. I just don't want to price myself like you said, on the market. So I'm already at the top. And so anyone who books us at where we're at right now, I feel they're getting one hell of a value.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing. I will turn down someone's business if we're not a good fit. So, when we meet someone, like even you being in the wedding industry, I instructed my guys. I knew you were coming in. I told my guys that don't treat her any different. And I was like, well, of course we love you and stuff, and we gave you a couple extra goodies and stuff. But other than that, I wanted you to experience what the couples you were sending our way were experiencing. That was super important to me, because I think it's an awesome experience. Especially for your fiance. I'm sure he came in here like, oh shoot, I didn't expect this. Right?
He was very excited. We met with Alex, and then we came in here, and of course he was not half asleep, but just like, okay, it's 10 o'clock on my day off. And so then we came in here, and he was like, oh, we got to play.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because I don't feel like I sell necessarily. I don't like to look at it that way. To me, I'm kind of just like, here's what I would do. Here's what I am doing. Here's what I've seen other people do that also works.
Right.
Make your decision. Like, that's kind of how I feel like I handle brides and grooms.
Right.
And so that's nice, because then when I do refer you, I'm like, no, this is kind of how it'll go. Like, they'll definitely take care of you. And then always the selling point is when I'm like, well, if that's what I'm doing for my wedding, they're like, oh, okay, let me just go ahead and get my phone.
Yeah, that's cool. Do that more often.
I do that with everything I'm doing. I feel like the people that I've hired because they're going to take care of me. Not that they're the only people in town that could take care of anybody, obviously. But,
right.
I went in. They were in my budget. They made me feel good. I can't wait to have them execute my wedding,
Very cool. Very cool. But, yeah, so, that's how I grew. And, I want to see people like yourself flourish. And, I truly understand, like, where most of these small business owners in our industry, in the event space, I understand the struggle. I really, I've been there. Like, I didn't come from money. Matter of fact, I think more people did not think I could do what I did than actually thought I can do what I did. If that makes sense. Like, it's. I don't want to say they weren't giving me their support. But at the same time, you're like, oh, it's just a pipe dream.
Yeah. He's like, have fun.
Yeah,
See you next weekend.
Most definitely. So it's kind of cool. And I told you earlier, like, I feel like I'm kind of confused. Here I am seen as a DJ, and I don't really DJ that much, but I still teach the skills to my guys. And a lot of my guys just pass me up, which I wanted. So they make the company look good. We're definitely a good brand. The other aspect is I see so many things in the wedding industry for the couples to have a better experience, and now, like, I want to share information with them to have a better experience, to avoid some of these vendors, or like how to shop for vendors, and like extra little things like, hey, if you're going to get married outside, it's going to be 100 degrees, guys, rent some coolers from Expo Party Rentals. It's going to help, so to be able to help them. And then here's the other side, like, being a small business, and, I want to, as my friend, I want to see you do awesome things, Well,
you're definitely inspiring, that's for sure.
And, so it's like, man, I have like 3 different messages. Like
that's okay.
How to party like a rock star, how to throw an event like a rock star, and how to build a business like a rock star, I guess, So, anyways.
You seem like a guy who kind of mentors people. Do you have a mentor?
I do.
Yeah?
Yes, I actually have a few. And, on the business side, guys, I think that's probably one of the best things that I did was invest in a coach. I'm not currently, I don't say I'm not paying for one specific coach right now, but I do pay to belong to certain groups in my industry that are kind of viewed as cream of the crop, and within those groups, you know, a lot of great information is shared. You know, and we even do like what we call think tank. So we'll travel to another DJ city, you know, for a very exclusive, very small meeting, and in that meeting we're talking about new event trends, like for instance the whole axe throwing thing. You know, it's kind of crazy. So I mean, it's funny. I feel like Fresno's so far behind in a lot of things, and I hate to say that, that it seems like axe throwing and other bigger cities renting it and for weddings and corporate events is such a big deal. Anyways, talking about this now, it's starting to catch on now, but we talked about this like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And we could have like you know, like, hey, okay, if we know this is going to be a thing. If we buy as a group, you know, what can our purchasing power be like? You know, where we get a cheaper price and stuff like that. So, so yes, like that. You know, these guys, I mean, they have it going on.
Yeah.
You know? So I look at them like, hey, I want it like that. So I guess you could say I have a mentor.
Yeah.
I do study a lot. I study business a whole lot. My goal, Erin, I told this to a few people. My goal is to own 1% of the wedding industry. Now, if you research the wedding industry, it's a $54.7 billion industry. 1%, what is that, $580 million a year? And people often ask me, like, hey, Isaac, what does that consist of? And that consists of everything that I love. And I love events, you know. So, you know, and I love employing people. So, I don't know if you met Chris, my photographer, right? Him and his wife were actually a client before I hired him. I hired him because I saw his passion for photography. I saw that love that I mean, you can't describe the way someone feels about their hobby, and if they could do it for a living, they would. And at the time I met him, you know, the pictures that he was taking, they were okay, but I saw the talent in him, and you know, hopefully he doesn't mind me talking about this, but I feel like he lacked the resources. You know, training he was getting through YouTube, which is cool. You want to take that one step further. Find your favorite trainer and pay the money to go hang out with them. And that's one hell of an experience. And we did that. We went to Vegas. We went to go hang out with some other shooters, taking these classes. Now, I was bored out of my mind because photography is not my thing. It doesn't need to be my thing. It's his thing.
Yeah.
You know? So here, I was able to invest in him to become a better photographer than what he was. Put some dope-ass equipment in his hands, excuse my language, you know? Yeah, you know, I mean, here I own some of the best gear in the world, you know? And now he does phenomenal things. And it was a process to kind of get him to that point. So, you know, only 1% is like, I see so many people who are passionate and they might never do what it takes to build a life that they want. And that's okay. But if I can help them, and of course, you know, I mean, I hope this doesn't sound, you know, selfish, but, you know, companies benefit as well. Yeah. You know, by owning the company. So, like, you know, Chris over there, he didn't start as a partner, but he's going to end up as a partner. Because I don't have any intentions to run these companies forever. Right. I want them to own them. I want them to run them. I mean, I think I'll always be that numbers guy. I'll always be that guy like, okay, the market's changing. How do we move with the market? Yeah. Or like, oh, hey, this big company's coming into town. All right, what are we going to do? What's our game plan, if you will? It's weird. I started as a DJ, but I didn't realize how much I love the business side, you know, and I love it so much. And I just take all the things that I love. I love great customer service. You know, that's super important. When I travel, this is the reason why I stay at the Hyatt all the time. Yeah. I love experience. I love customer service. I just want to mimic the things that I own after that. Great experience, great product, you know. Yeah, you're getting more than your money's worth, you know. Anyways, Erin, that's kind of more or less, you know, 1%, and I want that across the board. You know, I wanna own a wedding dress store. You know, a lot of people are like, are you serious? I was like, absolutely. When I built the company, I was in David's Bridal for about 2 years straight because I was an affiliate partner with him, and to see the joy in those brides who are purchasing their dress in their face, it was like you're working around happiness. But here's the downer: the people working at David's Bridal, some of them were great, and other ones were just there to collect a job. And so the experience was so inconsistent at David's Bridal that it's like, dude, if I owned this, even if I managed it, the experience would be completely different. You know, I would make the checkout process much faster. All my consultants would do everything by iPad. You wouldn't have to go to the register. I'd make it like almost like an Apple Store experience in buying. That way, you don't have to wait at a register and there's long lines, and your consultant can help you from that podium and the rest of your wedding party. Cool, bridesmaids dresses. Well, she's trying that on. Take a look at these guys, and you'll find it in this section.
Yeah.
You know, I just, man. So I totally want to dress shop.
Yeah.
You know, I do want to own a venue. I also want to do catering.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to do those things with people who love and who have passion for cooking, you know, and for events.
Yeah.
You know, and when I find the right person, you know, more than likely, I'm going to invest in them.
Yeah.
You know, and the investment is, I love business. I love this industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, something that you said, the last book that you recommended to me last time we talked, Sales for Event Pros. That was one part that stuck out to me too, was to look at the experiences that you've had and to apply it, which I was doing without even like realizing before I read that. Because that's kind of just how I always treat the brides. Like, hey, what do you need?
Right.
I'm not here to sell you something. I hate being sold. Some salesman the other day told me that I should do sales, and I wanted to tell him where to go. I don't, you know, I don't like that feeling for people. I like to make it like this, like a conversation.
Yeah, personal. Yeah, most definitely. Well, awesome. Other than that, Erin, I mean, I see my staff coming in now, you know, ready to work at 11 o'clock, part-timers. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm in the DJ industry, so these guys party at night, sleeping in the morning, and come back and repeat, you know. So other than that, Erin, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. I'm gonna give you a
Thanks
hug.
for having me.
Yes.
It was so much fun.
Yes. Oh, man. And, you know, we're rocking the Converse. I don't know if the camera can get it.
Converse Club.
Did it get it? Did it get it? Which one is it, Chris?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah, Converse. Boom. It's all I rock. Converse.
Right.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, man, that was a lot of fun, Erin.